Spies. Saboteurs. Assassins. We've all done terrible things on behalf of the rebellion.
Cassian Andor. Don't matter what you tell me or tell yourself. You'll ultimately die fighting these bastards. Wouldn't you rather give it all at once to something real?
We've chosen a side. We're fighting against the dark.
There is an organized rebel effort. Drill down and get a hunt started.
You realize what you set in motion? People will suffer.
Time has come to force their hand.
At what cost?
Everything!
Every day we wait, they get stronger.
Let's take them by surprise.
For the greater good,
Call it what you will.
let's call it war.
People are standing up. They're afraid. Right now, they're afraid.
Star Wars Andor, 3-episode premiere, streaming September 21st.
Oh, ball shooter! Hachula Prinky, and greetings to everyone out there. Hello, welcome to the Periodic Table of Awesome. My name is Dion, or for this side, the person that you're going to have to get to be muted because he's not going to shut up. And that's Jill and Quinny. Anyway, getting into what I want to talk about.
We should all welcome the wonky Dion, which apparently means mighty, but I call bullshit.
I've got a wonky Chewbacca, which is a lovely little mnemonic about that. So that's a different scene. This is different movies. This is all fine. Okay, we're going to get into this. It's fine. How is everyone? Hello to everyone in the chat. It's very nice that you've all joined in. Thank you in the yes, there's Casper just in there. So, thank you for subbing. You're going in there, getting straight away.
In, Casper.
It's good to see. Okay.
Something like the machine gun that he is.
Now,
and we love you for it. Thank you, Casper.
Yes, love it. Thank you. Hello, Jill. Hello, Quinny.
Hi.
Peter couldn't make it, and also she hasn't watched it, so that's why she's dead to us now. She's got a little TV show that she's currently massaging into the world, so we're gonna give her a pass on that one. Excellent. Now, I did a little bit of a thing and went back and checked on when we reviewed certain things.
Okay.
So going all the way back to 2016 when we reviewed Rogue One.
Wow.
I know, right? That's almost 10 years ago. And then we never really did a full episode on Andor season 1.
Didn't we?
And then we never really did a full show on Andor season 2. We only did a few episodes. So that's why, even though it feels like we have reviewed all of this, this is just one show dedicated to all of the Gilroy girls. Which is what I want to call it now, forever and a day.
Just for people that aren't aware, Tony Gilroy is the showrunner. Is that correct?
Yes. And writer, and even though Gareth Edwards was the director of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, Gilroy was also a writer on that. So, you know,
there are pretty strong intimations that Tony Gilroy was fairly heavily responsible for some of the reshoots.
Also, I just want to do something here, which seems a bit out of character for regular Star Wars nerds. Is I'm going to give a shout out to Kathleen Kennedy. She gets a lot of flack for all of the stuff that she's in there. Not a lot of people are comfortable with her decisions, but you got to admit, without her, you wouldn't have this.
Sorry, I just need to check. Dion, are you a man with a beard who likes Star Wars?
And a podcast.
Holy shit. No. You are legally not allowed to mention Kathleen Kennedy without it being a violent slur.
Yeah.
Possibly some kind of angry,
Hell no. Thank you, Kathleen. Kathleen Kennedy has given us so much stuff over the years. It's okay. She's not the responsible for everything. Anyway.
And you know what? If she is responsible for things, she's actually responsible for a lot of good shit.
Sure. Not just Star Wars stuff.
Everybody's, out there hating on her, but she's been kicking around since the early 80s, doing Lucasfilm and stuff like that. Anyway.
Indiana Jones.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah. Right.
Jill.
Yes.
You're a Star Wars fan.
I am, and I'm only like a recent-ish Star Wars minted fan because like
Minted. Shit.
I never really I was not gung-ho Star Wars. I had seen the original trilogy. I had seen the prequels when they came out, and saw the sequels, and yeah, it was all really cool. But it wasn't really until they started doing the TV stuff that I got really far down into the hole. And I blame Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
I blame Clone
I thought you were talking about the
Wars.
TV stuff like Ewoks and droids.
Yeah.
The cartoons from the... No? Not that, okay.
No, the
That's-
recent TV
Oh, okay,
stuff.
sure.
Yeah,
Because you got to remember, there has been some TV stuff.
That's
if we go
true.
all the way back to the holiday special.
Sure.
In trouble again.
But if there's one thing that is sure to get me hooked, it's if you tell me there is lore. I will go
Oh,
back
so much
and
lore.
I will devour the lore.
Excellent.
God, yes.
Yeah.
And this is a show that really I find it interesting because this is a show that not only builds lore but does a whole bunch of like weaving of lore into narratives that at the same time is feeling very, modern and, it utterly of the time, but at the same time kind of timeless, and also does this bizarre and magical thing of recontextualizing other films. Fucking blows my mind. And
Yeah.
we're not gonna give number reviews of this, are we? We're not reviewing this as
I don't know.
I don't know. You keep talking about lore though, and I just keep going into Max von Sydow's character from the sequels, Lore Santeca.
Gonk.
Fucking hell.
Oh,
There's
yes.
the first one of the
There's
night,
the first
guys.
one.
Was I on the original review for Rogue One?
No.
Oh.
No. And that was very specifically, I do remember that one because Quinny and I got to go and see it. And then we went back and did the audio recording. This is pre-video recording.
Yeah,
It was just our dulcet
it was
tones.
right near Christmas. I remember
Yep.
because we left our work Christmas party
Yep.
and explained to people we're going to go and watch a Star Wars film, and they were like, "Fucking nerds."
Yeah.
And we had the best time. It was
Yeah.
fucking great activation and everything.
Yeah, there were people doing like martial arts and shit like that, which had nothing at all to do with the thing, but it was
No.
a great activation.
I mean, you had a martial arts actor in the film.
Sure.
True. Good point. It was the Donnie Yen of it all. That actually makes a lot more sense now. 10 years later, I finally
Wow, I
get it.
contextualized it for you in retrospect.
Thank you. Jill, you are the Andor of this.
Oh,
podcast.
yeah. So here's the
Amazing.
thing. I didn't like Rogue One. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
it's a movie where everybody dies. I'm like, that fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And I think part of this, the reason that we're doing, everything tonight and coming back to it is the 2 seasons of Andor recontextualize Rogue One as a viewing.
100%.
And
100%.
yeah, it makes it really interesting.
Mm.
Yeah. Like, I'm guessing that after finishing Andor season 2, did you both basically go straight on into Rogue One?
Immediately.
100%.
Yeah. I did it like a day later because it was by the time I'd finished the end of Andor season 2, it was very late at night.
Yeah, I
And
just
was like,
pushed through. I think I went to bed around 1:30. I was like, I am watching Rogue One from start to finish.
Yeah. I said to Dion, at work the other day, I was like, I have never seen something so completely and I hate saying, because we've said it multiple times, but recontextualize a film so comprehensively as what Andor does for the film of Rogue One. But also then what Rogue One, in its position now in canon, does for episode 4 and, a lot of the other films as well. Like it then kind of the weight of what happens here suddenly changes what happens later too. And that it does things that you kind of don't necessarily wrap your head around until a bit later. Like when you're watching Luke and Han and Chewie get a fucking medal put on around their neck. Not Chewie, sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say, hang on a second.
And you're like, motherfuckers, you
Yeah.
came in for the last 2 minutes.
I know. And if you think I didn't watch episode 4 straight after Rogue One as well, you're kidding
done,
yourself.
well done.
Because yeah, and it's so bizarre, like watching it in that order, because you have all of this like emotional baggage throughout season 1 of 2 of Andor, and then you get to Rogue One and you're like, oh man, they were so done dirty, they all died now. And then you get to episode 4, and then here they all are cheering at the end. Leia doesn't give a fuck that her planet's been blown to shit, but here she is giving them medals. Yay, we did it, guys.
Yeah, I know, and it's also, but also because you think about it, it's like, oh, they're the heroes of the rebellion. Yeah, they're the only ones left.
They came in for 2 fucking minutes, and they're the heroes of the whole rebellion that's been going for decades.
Yeah, it does feel like one of those group projects where someone who didn't do any of the work just walks in, presents the project, and then goes, thanks, and they go, very well done, A for you, only just for you, you have an A. Not you, your dog doesn't get one. Which is slightly fun. Yeah, look, there are a lot of things, and I do want to come back, Jill. Actually, you made a great point talking about Leia and her reaction to everything after getting stuff blown up. But like, I would have, okay. So season 1, should we go all the way back? We might as well do it chronologically to go through this. Memories of season 1 of Andor was one of those great things because it, much like I feel The Mandalorian set a precedent for Star Wars television, which was like, oh, this is space western, you know, kind of fun, kind of goofy, but also had a more serious tone. Andor just has a very adult feel to it, if you can use that without being, you know, too strange. It was just like, this is quite literally a spy thriller set in the Star Wars universe, but it doesn't have the things that make it silly.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I thought, "Oh, what's this going to be about?" I'm like, "Oh, it's the dude that died in Rogue One. Okay, where are they going to go with this?" And then
I mean, we
watching
kind of know
that
his
trailer,
arc.
and like seeing the tone and the mood of it all, and it was like so politically focused, and I'm like, you know what? That's like a really fascinating aspect that they don't really hone in on too much in like the films. It's all about, you know, good versus evil and you know, the magic of the Force and everything like that. And so it's like, yeah, but it's all centered around a Senate of this like huge galaxy of all of these different planets that are all trying to come together to live amicably, being ruled by an empire that is tyrannical. And how does all of that work? You know, why is there a rebellion? What is actually going on? Why are like people being oppressed? Like, what is, you know, the context of the Star Wars?
Yeah. And something I do love about it is that it contextualizes that, but it also builds like all through the TV stuff. And, you know, I guess even the last couple of films, there has been a building understanding of the simplicity of the original films of the good versus evil is way off. Like that was one moment in time where it was so cut and dried.
Yeah.
But everything else around it is actually shades of gray. And you know, the Jedi were for how, you know, 1,000 generations the protectors of peace and whatever. No, they were corrupt. They were lazy. They had lost their way. They had gotten too comfortable with what they were doing.
Kind of mercenaries. For the
they
Senate.
were mercenaries, absolutely. They were cops. And you know, you go back to the beginning of episode 1, it's about a trade dispute. And these guys have literally been sent in to strong arm people as a part of a trade dispute. The fact that they're the good guys, you go, oh, okay, right, fair enough. But you have to start rethinking about the whole universe as, okay, it's not as simple as light side good, dark side bad.
Yeah.
There are now a whole bunch of other things that you need to take into account, and the politics is hugely important.
Yeah, I think it does more for world building in this series than any of the films.
God, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
because it has more time.
Also, yeah, it's right. You've got more time to introduce characters, let something develop slowly. Also, as you're quite right to say, it's not about war at this time. Like, you know, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, is about a shooting war.
Yeah.
All right? Like, kind of. It's the start of a shooting war. But Andor is not about that. It's already been won. The Clone Wars have been won.
Yeah.
The Empire is established. They are the cops. They are the law. That is the way that it's all living, and it's just crushing everyone underneath it. And it's a really interesting way that they use that to explain or show how that kind of the brutality of banality. You know, I mean, it's already there. It's happening right now, and as they even say, they just keep squeezing, and they're choking very slowly the life out of everyone.
And it's only been for what, 16, 17 years at that point?
Well, I mean, I don't know because I haven't got a timeline in front of me.
Yeah, but it's not much because, you know, we know that Luke is, you know, 19 or something like that at the start of episode 4.
Oh, it's
so
five. It's 5 years from before the episode 4. Yeah, 5 years before, and Andor season 2 is only 3 years before. Then 2 years, then 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out when the end of the thing is. It's not long.
It's not long.
So it must be like 15 years then.
Yeah, so it's about 15 years that the Empire has actually been in charge.
Yeah.
Which, in terms of, you know, like intergalactic time scales, is tiny. It's nothing. But in terms of the amount of fucking power that can be corrupted and gathered and enforced, as we are seeing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been 6 months for
yeah,
Trump Part 2.
It's 14 years from episode 3.
Exactly.
So the establishment of there we go. Thanks, Dr. Google. Yeah, it's 14 years since Darth Vader was created, and the establishment of the new Empire. So you know, Palpatine's been doing some shit. People are getting kind of comfortable, and it's a nice kind of idea to go, oh yeah. So it's like 20 years all up. So you know, almost 20 years from that to that.
And it is interesting because there you see structures that are in place that are obviously a lot older than that. The Senate has been around for generations.
Yeah,
intergenerational wealth has been around for a lot longer
for intergenerations.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so the Mothma family and so forth, they've had money and power for a lot longer than the Empire's been around. You know, so the decisions that people make and the way that they interact with power and power structures is longer than just empires. And you kind of look at that and you come into it and you're like, okay, and now we're going to learn about Andor. You know?
Yeah, we're going to narrow down and focus into one little cog in this big machine and see how it affects this small group of people.
And also, like, I love that it focuses on someone who doesn't want to be a cog. You know, like it gives us all of those kind of things that we want to go. We know that we have got to follow Cassian Andor. It's his story. Why does it? He's a reluctant hero. He gets his call to, action. He rejects it. It's
comprehensively.
Yeah, comprehensively. You get this nascent rebellion. You're giving explanations of how it got, sort of how tenuous it is, just how ignorant and brutal the Imperial war machine is. And also, we finally get to see the ISB, the Imperial Security Bureau, who've always been around in the background, and they wear the white kind of uniforms, and they're the ones, they're just the Gestapo. That's just the Gestapo. That's all they are.
Love a bureau.
Yeah, we love a bureau. And, this was what was great about Andor. No lightsabers, no force, no magical pixie person to come out, swing a laser sword around and solve all your problems. It is just like, nope, there's all this other stuff going on there. And the idea of a Jedi is so foreign to everyone because they just don't see them, that it became a really interesting opportunity to do like a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy thriller.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it worked so well because everyone was fucking committed to it.
Yeah, it's also really interesting to see like a Star Wars take on like one stone casting a ripple. Like, how does this affect the wider galaxy? It is like the rebellion is like a grassroots movement. It's small. It's like there's pockets throughout the galaxy. It's very tiny and organized and, you know, under the radar because that's the way it's got to work. But like, how does one person affect so much change?
And it is one person, but it's also all of the people around them. And while Andor is the central character, you get him intersecting with other characters who teach him, learn from him, whatever. And like, I think the first season is great because you've got sort of, it's essentially 3 really distinct arcs. You know, there's the stuff on Ferrix. There's the stuff on the
Coruscant?
what's the name? No, well, no, the planet with where they do the heist.
Oh, Aldani.
And then you've got the stuff on Narkina 5.
And the stuff on Coruscant.
So you've sort of got like a bunch of episodes for each, and each one has something that they're kind of exploring. Each, you know, characters who build up who Cassian is. And yeah, like I find them interesting because each one has such a very different flavor too. Like all the stuff on Ferrix is very you know, the workers. It's about, you know, I guess him. We're just learning about his background. But then you go to Aldani and you get this great heist, which is, and also that's when it's like, okay, this is now about a bigger rebellion.
Yeah, it's like seeing the extremist side of it.
Yeah. And from a perspective, they're not good people.
No.
Like they're holding a family at gunpoint. They're just thieves. They're stealing money. There is like, you know, this is not like, we know that it's for a good cause, but it's very easy to read it as like, these are not good people. And one of them turns out to just not be a good person.
Well, I mean, this is the really nice thing about all of this is that no one is really a good person.
Nemec is a good person.
Yeah, but I mean, like this is the great thing we're talking about, the gray areas, the shades of gray, the stuff that goes on in this. This presents everyone as flawed. Like there isn't, you don't look at, like, it goes out of its way to say Cassian is not a good person. It goes out of its way to create situations where people are doing horrible things for what could be considered altruistically the right reasons, but also they're still horrible things, and it doesn't shy away and apologize for that. Which is why it's such an interesting addition to the Star Wars universe, and that's just our introduction to it, which is why, as we keep saying, it keeps reframing Rogue One to a generation that didn't really know what that was about, because it still tried to give us action bits and space battles and all this fun stuff, but it's like, but there's also an undercurrent of like weird in there that we didn't quite get, and now it's like, ooh, this is a lot more. This meal is so complex.
yeah. I've now had flavors introduced to me that I can recognize in the main dish.
Yes, and yes, thanks. Oh yes, we have war in Star Wars, and war is messy, and war is not great. And it introduces that factor in the first season, and then it compounds that factor in the second season very specifically.
As a matter of interest, what were your favorite sequences or bits out of season 1?
Oh man,
my favorite one was the Eye.
The Aldani episodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, visually, that whole thing, they're building towards that heist. And visually, that escape out of the heist was really spectacular. Go back and watch it again. If you can watch it at the highest definition, you can. But I also like the Narkina 5 prison escape.
Yeah.
That's emotional.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, seeing what, you know, people are going through under the Empire, like, you know, without any idea of what they're actually contributing to was, you know, it's a terrifying prospect. But I think for me, my favorite stuff was like seeing the people of Ferrix rise up against the ISB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
mean,
they'd been under the thumb for
brick.
so long
Yeah.
and like really pushed around. And yeah, I mean,
Brasso,
got to
Brasso
throw the
smacking,
first stone.
yeah, Brasso smacking someone over the head with Marva's brick was actually one of those great moments. You're like, fuck yeah, finally, the
And
boiling point gets reached.
yeah,
first
and
bubble
there is a part
pops.
of me. I disagree with Disney. I actually think that they should have left the line in the way that it was. Fuck the Empire.
Ah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know that they could never have gotten away with it because it is not. It's that's not Star Wars.
Sure. I mean, just
But-
imagine if it had been on, like, replayed on free-to-air television in the 90s. Funk the
Flip the
Empire. Funk the Empire. Okay.
Funk.
and,
We going
and we
off
do that
plan?
in season 2.
I mean,
was-
the most interesting thing I think actually came from the first episode of Andor, where someone, I remember reading on the internet, watching it like, oh, I'm going to watch Andor. I'm going to watch it with my child. And, you know, the father and son are watching it. And you know,
Oh, no.
10 minutes into the first episode of Andor, you know, they imagine the child just going, Dad, what's a prostitute? What's a brothel?
Did the hero just shoot that guy?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, shooting is fine because, you know, Han shot first and all that. But this is the first time they went to a sex club.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of like, oh, this is a different kind of show.
Yeah.
But feels very familiar because, you know, they just did a really good job on that.
See, I fucking love the Narkina 5 arc.
Yeah.
Just because how he gets there is so shocking.
Yeah.
Like he's literally gotten away with it. He's chilling on a beach, and then shit goes tits up because he happens to be in the wrong place.
He's just fucked by bureaucracy. That's what the great thing about it is. It's like, oh, I got away with it. Yeah, you know how we're going to get bureaucracy. We're just going to improve. We're going to start rounding people up because we don't like the look of them.
Yeah, Ice picked him up.
Yeah, ice picked him up.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
It was, ICE, the particular robot. But and then you get this like totally different style of show, which is like this really contained, tense prison drama, you know, with all of those sort of notes where, you know, the old guy who's dying and then the communication between the different levels and stuff, and then this incredibly emotional breakout. I thought that, like, the first stuff on Ferrix, great, really enjoyed the heist, but for me, the thing that solidified it as being a truly fucking amazing show was the Narkina 5 stuff. I was like, oh, fuck me, this is... And I watched it at the time. I thought it was good. And then a few months ago, I rewatched it just because I was like, I think I want to watch something good. Yeah. Same again. I was just like, oh, fuck me. Wow.
Yeah. Look, you know, season 1 of Andor was a great thing in the way that it captured exactly what we were after. It gave us an adult storyline. It didn't tie everything up and made us all just incredibly hungry for the second season. And I don't know, should we skip to that now, or do we want to do you want to keep going into that way?
And is there anything else that we need to cover? Like, okay, two people that we haven't talked about at all.
Sure.
Just from season 1, and I think it's important to kind of just touch on some of the key characters.
Sure.
Cyril?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kyle Solar's Cyril. Amazing.
Cyril?
Our favorite ISB simp.
Yeah, my
ISB.
God. And
He
apparently my phone thinks that its name is Cyril.
Oh, hey, Cyril.
And Dedra, like
Yeah.
two characters who you kind of meet throughout the course of that whole thing. And to be honest, I thought, where the fuck are they going with this Cyril guy?
He just
Like-
wanted to be part of the Palpatine youth.
He just wanted to be part of something. He wanted to
Sure.
be important.
Yeah.
Like the young liberals.
Yeah,
Like
100%. Like
It's
he
kind of.
just wanted to be important and on the side of what he thought was right.
Well, see, this is the whole sort of thing. It's a lovely explanation of that character. Is an isolated, slightly, hounded and kind of abused male character who's looking for a point and a purpose in life, and has decided that he's going to do that through, just rapid conformity to something. Like, that's what he's hitched a wagon to it because he thinks that's the way it's going to. That's the only thing that gives him control. So control attracts him because the rest of his life is out of control or controlled for him. So he's a really fascinating character, and I really love what his growth across 2 seasons was amazing.
And his fuck awful mother.
Perfect.
Yeah. Like, and once again, the banality of evil. Like, just this woman who delights in belittling and destroying joy. So he has no other way of viewing the world other than through that lens. And who does he fall in love with? And a woman clinically incapable of smiling.
Yeah.
Well, Dedra Meero is a great character because it just shows you how ruthless the Empire are, even amongst themselves. I mean, you've also got Partagats in there, like, showing him he's a great character because he's just so forthright. It doesn't mince its words. It doesn't take its time. It gets through those scenes very rapidly, exactly like the Imperial bureaucracy. We get to spend time with, the rebels and those partisans and those other people because they're fully developed characters. I also love how we do not get to spend any time with any of the Imperials except when they're just doing their bit and then they move on because that's their life. They have no personality. Like, it's a very complicated show. I'm very happy with how they dealt with everything.
And also, just before we move on to season 2,
sure.
Luthen Rail.
Fabulous man. I love it. You've got to be that. You've got to be that sort of a person. Absolutely dark, but also fabulous. How do you live in these two worlds? How do you pull the wool over the eyes of all these people? Because you act like a fop and you kill people for fun. Like, great character.
Yeah. Calm, kindness, kinship, love.
Yeah.
I just say all these words.
Also delivered the greatest speech, I think, in all of Star Wars about burning your life, for a sunrise I'll never see. Poetic.
And he was right. Spoilers.
Beautiful. Wonderful. So yes, anyway, season 1, we're happy with that?
Yeah.
Great. I just want to go quickly into the season 2 trailer, which is, what was great about this season 2 trailer is the fact that it's a departure from what you're expecting because it adds a bit of rock and roll, which just made me even happier to watch it.
We're in a war. You want to fight? Or you want to win? Last night I had a dream that the world had turned. All our hopes had come to be. The revolution starts now.
What a swell party this is. Remember this moment. You're here, you're right here, and you're ready to fight.
Fuck yeah. Who doesn't love that fucking trailer? It kicked dick. Uh, yeah, some people like missed that one. That was the first teaser trailer that they released for season 2 of Andor before their full marketing campaign went through it. And it's just fucking
okay. Full transparency. I don't think I've seen it, but also I still haven't seen it because we can't see the trailer. So all we saw was Dion going.
Well, listening, you were listening to the music. Like, yeah, it was a rock and roll trailer, and it just was just this thing where you're like, fuck yeah. I didn't know what to expect for season 2, but this is great.
Is it representative of season 2 though?
Not really. Like season 2 was way like I watched that trailer and I was like, this is just going to be fucking kick-ass rebellion, like blowing up shit for the rebellion. And then I was like, oh my god, I got something different, but I kind of like it. Plus Mendo.
Fucking Mendo.
Fucking Mendo.
Yeah.
Mendo's
I
back.
totally forgot that he was in Rogue One because I kind of like wiped the movie from my brain after I watched it. So I was like, saw him in season 2. I was like, yeah, Mendo.
Yeah, Mendo.
Yeah.
Look, okay, season 2, it's got thrills, it's got spills, it's it took
It's got the boys from marketing.
Exactly.
And optics.
God,
it's got
when the marketing cunts showed up, and I'm just like, oh, they're the worst.
Yes,
Here are the optics for how we're gonna steal a bunch of
substrate
ore from a planet.
Calcite substitutes, calcite alternatives.
The lunch buffet meeting.
Yeah.
Also, really different departure from the way they structured all the episodes. Whereas in season 1, it was a linear progression about over a certain period of time of what happened. In this one, they decided to release it in 4 3-episode blocks of 1-year skips.
Yeah,
and I wasn't convinced when it did that. And then when it started doing it, I was like, oh, this helps to skip things along.
Yeah. Well, I never saw any of the trailers, never saw anything for it. Read the article about the episode structure and thought, love it. That's going to be great. Because you get little bite-sized chunks because, you know, what we're like with binging, we'll just sit there and watch the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
So, but instead of weekly drops, you get 3 episodes a week. And I thought it was the perfect amount because, I am going to sit there and watch 3 episodes. And you get this little self-contained story in each one, but it all like puzzles together to build like an epic canvas over 4 years. So
I initially I was like, no, I want this to last. I want it to play out. I want it to feel like we're getting, you know, this beautiful long story and everything like that, you know, because that's what we got in the first season. But after the first 3, I went, oh no, I get it now. They're just they're short films. They're not even actually short films. They're feature-length films.
Yeah, it's funny because like each block is also like a little triptych as well in the 3 episodes because you are getting like the characters that we've like met along the way now, each of their perspectives of what is happening in this year.
Yeah, and it's sorry, you go, Quinny.
Sorry, you go, Dave.
I loved how it also showed a few like some of the consequences of the things that were happening as well, like you know, leftist infighting simulator.
Oh, God.
In the first block. Oh dear, I seem to have started a rebellion and now I have to face up to the consequences of that block. We really should have killed Krennic and at that party back there block. I mean, and oopsie, rebellion dead. Maybe? All of these things are great. Like, and it just made it, you know what it really helped? It helped with the tension and the resolution. It also allowed them to wrap up some of the storylines, which was really annoying because even though this feeds straight into Rogue One, which, as we all know, is a total party kill.
Yes.
They also started offing people from season 1 of Andor straight away in season 2, and it started making you realize, oh shit, this really is a total party kill. Like all the people that start the rebellion, will they die? Like that's the thing.
Nobody gets out of this fucking scot-free. That's the thing. And everyone has the opportunity to possibly go badly, to also potentially sell people out because you do not fucking know who's like, you know who's good guys and bad guys, but there's always the possibility that something's going to go wrong and that somebody is going to suddenly find themselves on the wrong side of history. Yeah, loved it. Loved that. So the first arc in this one was sort of the farming arc, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But at the so it was the theft of the not X-wing, sorry, the
TIE
TIE.
fighter.
It was a TIE interceptor or something.
Is a prototype TIE defender.
Okay, a prototype.
Yeah. Cena Systems prototype TIE.
Okay, gonk. But so you've got that's Andor's story, and then the stuff on the farming planet. I loved the farming planet, and I've heard a lot of people go that they really didn't dig the whole infighting with the two rebellion, like the what did you call it?
Yeah.
Leftist infighting simulator.
Yeah, leftist infighting simulator in that first 3-episode arc, where it's like, I'm part of a rebellion, but you're not the leader of this part. Like, we have to decide who's the new leader. Rah, rah.
We're
It's like,
the Judean People's Front, not the People's Front of Judea.
Yeah. Which you can understand. This is why Saw Gerrera is like, this group, you're all not doing anything. Anyway, gotta go blow something up.
Yeah, fucking splitters. Yeah, like,
exactly.
And the fact, and I love that. I actually love that sequence because it really was very much a look at leftist infighting and going, when the people are passionate about a belief, they will fight each other over getting that belief over the line. Whereas something like the Empire is so good at all going in one straight fucking line.
Yeah.
Because they're too afraid to step out of line. And you've got fucking a group of rebels literally turning a stolen weapon on themselves.
Yep.
Like, you're just watching it going, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
But I love that at the end of it is revealed to all be on Yavin. And you're like, oh, so this is literally where the rebellion starts.
Yeah. A bunch of people fighting with each other that are supposed to be together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's not. Also, unfortunately, we Brasso, spoilers. We've already seen this. We're talking about here. Brasso, such a sad way that he went out, but also this is kind of what this season 2 is explaining to us, which is like, yeah, people will die, but people will die in banal and boring ways, or kind of just, not very thrilling ways, because that's what happens.
Yeah.
When someone is killed, it could be for a shitty or pointless reason. It doesn't have to be a great self-sacrifice. There isn't one great moment, which helps to lead into Rogue One at the end of Rogue One when we get into there a little bit later. So I kind of really like that it had some big moments. I think there weren't a lot of big moments in season 2, which made me kind of go, oh, there wasn't like the Aldani heist.
Sure.
Notwithstanding the Gorman massacre.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Okay. But I felt like, that trailer that we just watched or you heard, it felt very action-packed. Like, that trailer was really trying to get everyone pumping. But the season 2 that we got wasn't quite like that. It was a little bit of, how do we, like, all this stuff still going on, how do we sort of tie up some of the loose ends and focus more in on the characters and how they go and how do they get tied up? Which was good. I really loved watching Cassian finally get into his idea of a spy. Like, I'm a spy now. I just adopt personalities and things and move around, and there is a rebellion going on, and we're all kind of looking at each other going, oh yeah, but maybe rebellion is good? No? Okay.
One character we didn't mention from season 1 who Karina's just brought up, Mon Mothma.
Who? Yeah. She wasn't very important, was she? Yes, sorry. Mon Mothma is always a gift. The second character, or not even the second character, I would actually say that Andor is more about Mon Mothma than it is about Cassian. Cassian kind of just flits around and does stuff. Mon is laser focused on getting this rebellion going, the whole thing, and sacrifices, I would say, way more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the people around her as well. Like, I hated her husband.
Oh yeah, he's a
I
piece of
hated
shit.
her with him with a fucking passion.
Yeah.
I did read somewhere that he actually, like, there was a scene shot where it's revealed that he knew what she was doing the whole time.
Oh.
Yeah, a deleted scene of like, why didn't you just tell me? I would have
Interesting.
supported you. And it's like, yeah, but I like him as an asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I
I think
prefer
there's
him.
more at stake if you can't even trust your own husband, you know? I feel like there's more tension building there if you're like trying to keep stuff under wraps from like your closest family members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially your snippy little bitch daughter.
She like,
Oh, what a privileged piece of shit
she was fine. She was just someone who went down trad wife. Like Cyril.
He was totally trad wifing.
Cyril
wasn't he?
is red pill Joe Rogan motherfucker who joins the fash, no problem. But Mon Mothma's daughter was trad wife rich person.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But then, like, you know, throughout season 1, we've sort of watched Mon Mothma and seen her funneling money and making big calls and everything. I fucking loved the end of that first 3 episode arc where you just see a loser shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Drowning her sorrows and dancing her
Real. Some of
her
that
little
music,
heart out.
like some of this music you're talking about. It's a banger. There's a 2-hour mix available, released by Star Wars, of this
Put on
song.
a flowy dress and just spin around in
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
a couple of drinks.
The thing I love about this, and this is a really bizarre piece of background to the music, it's actually used multiple times throughout season 1 as well. On the piece of music is called Nyamos, which is the planet that Cassian is on when he gets caught by the robot and sent to Narkina 5.
Yeah.
That's the first time you hear it. So there's a thing going that basically this is just the popular song doing the rounds of the galaxy at the moment.
Oh,
And
it's
you're
a Chapel
actually
Roan.
yeah, you're hearing it all over the place, and there are different versions of it.
Yeah.
Like the
It's-
first time you hear it's kind of a almost acoustic version, and then as it's going on, this is the banger version.
I
that is
swear-
all
Right, then you get the
nerves.
remix.
I
and-
swear it's on one of
Exactly.
the intro themes to season 1 too, because you know how like the music slightly varies across the intro to season 1 of Andor. The music is slightly different. But yeah,
Also,
look,
the one episode that doesn't have music in season 2 that just has the radio being tuned in.
Right.
Like, this is the random shit that if you watch it and you don't skip the intro, you get all these different little bits at the beginning of Andor. It's fucking sick.
I mean, you know, look, this Mon Mothma's story is amazing through this because most of season 1, she is kind of painfully oblivious. She's just the bank account, and she's trusting Luthen with all of this money to kind of, you're doing things. That's great. Well, what happens? Like, you know, but she doesn't really know what's going on. And then in season 2, you know, she's in the find out bit of the fuck around, which is really great. And then she's in the, oh no, I found out. And I didn't realize exactly how bad it was when she has to escape and get out of it. And she's confronted, like, that's a really good thing after she's finally like being like gotten out of Coruscant by Cassian, and he just shoots the driver and keeps moving. And that was the first time the look on her face is like, oh my God, you just kill people. It's like, yeah, and we have to keep going. This is what we've been doing the whole time. Come on, Mon, we need to leave. And she's just a little bit like, I didn't really realize that this was the thing that I have to do now. Like I will, you know, I was separated from it. But, you know, Mon Mothma, great.
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorite bits in season 2, and it's blink and you miss it shit, is just before that escape, when she's doing her speech to the entirety of the Senate. There is a point where everybody is saying, "Turn her off. Turn off her feed."
Yeah.
And I love it that there are 2 people who are there who are just cleaners. Or maintenance or whatever, who are being yelled at by the guy going, get this fucking door open, open this door. And they're like, oh no, we repaired it. Like, we did what was asked. The door has been repaired. He's like, well, why doesn't it open? And they're getting angry. And I love that because it's a theory of, how do you get by in fascist dictatorships? Malicious compliance.
Yes.
No, you told us this was supposed to be locked, and we locked it for you, sir. Great.
Yes.
Where's the key? It's
it's
in the safe in the office where you told us to put it.
Yeah, I love it because they are clearly, rebellion adjacent or whatever. They are doing just their little bit, and it's the same as the dude on Gore, sorry, that works in the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
It's just he's doing little bits of rebellion, just enough to say to Cassian, hey, I've given you the room with a view. And by the way, you're going to have to do that because that bitch next to me will check you up.
Yeah. Or like, I remember you.
Yes.
I mean, it's fun. Like, there's so many lovely little bits and pieces of this. But what I was really interested in was whether or not Dedra Miro would finally catch Cassian Andor in season 2. And you know what's really great about that, no matter what happens, is they never get to fucking meet.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of great? And it is one of the rolling things that sort of happens throughout it all, and in Rogue One, because in Rogue One there is a line in there which is when Mendo, good old Mendo, goes to Jyn Erso at the end, and he's like, "Who are you?" All right, there is and they took that and they put it back into Andor, and it was a recurring sort of line through Andor too. It was like, "Wait, who are you?" Like, I don't know who you are, and that's the nature of sort of spies and cells and rebellions and compartmentalized information is sometimes you can be totally wrapped up and focused on a concept of a person, but you never actually meet that person because you just never do. But Dedra did get to meet. Yeah. Cyril was like, you're the person. And he's like, who are you?
Yeah.
I was really hoping that he would just get so frustrated and be like, what the point? What is all of this? Maybe I don't need to do this. You don't even know who I am. I am pointless in the universe, even though I tried to find a point by joining the Fash, even though I felt useless.
Yeah, it does feel like Cyril was kind of coming to some kind of realization.
I think so.
Towards his demise there. And yeah, it's disappointing to not see it, but also, I mean, shit happens.
Yeah. I love that because I think that last scene or a couple of scenes with him was him going, oh shit, I have been played by the Empire.
Yeah.
And I have been given respect by these other people, the Gore, and fuck, I've sold them out. I'm the bad one here. You can see him really changing where he is. And I honestly think if he hadn't seen Cassian, I think he would have just continued on and probably gone to fight alongside them. Or
yeah, possibly. He could have switched sides.
Yeah.
Sure.
But he didn't. He saw Cassian.
I mean, this was so interesting too, watching Cyril, who thought that he was doing something really cool for the Empire by getting in and getting information like a real honest-to-God spy, finds out he's getting played the entire time by his
girlfriend.
By his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I think one of my most favorite things about this season 2 is the world building that they did with Gorman. Goodness. They mirrored this planet on a World War II era French town. It's a haute couture planet that they make fabric. It's very much the high street with I mean, Mendo in another universe played Christian Dior, but so we have Balenciaga down the road and Yves Saint Laurent around the corner.
European resistance to fascism.
They created an entire language for these people that was dripping in French, like, and it was just everything about it was just like sublime.
But
I
not
loved it.
French. You know, French, but not
No,
French.
it sounds French, and I'm like, what language are they speaking?
Yeah, is
and
it
I looked
Belgian?
into it. It was like, no, they made this language for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, made it sound French.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought it was really great to see a kind of real world parallel.
Yeah.
And like how are the space Nazis taking advantage of of the business world of Gorman?
Yeah.
I love the idea that somewhere there is a little Gore cafe that is run by Rene, and they're trying to find the holocron of the fallen Madonna with the big boobies.
Oh, Jesus.
There's some like rebellion spy pissing by their wandu every time.
Oh, Tara, Tara, you made a good point. It was definitely Les Mis.
Yes.
Yep.
And also got to finally got to see some of the brutality of the Empire on a larger scale of just like, yeah, we're just going to set this up because that's what we do. We're doing a false flag operation in order to cover the fact that we're just doing a full scale invasion because we need the optics team to report this a certain way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
So disgusting because you could see it. You could like, it felt so real because it felt so believable. And who does the Empire fire on first? Their own people.
Yeah. Yeah, because they know what they're doing. They know what they've got to do. Also, on
and it
top
was the
of
first time I was actually intimidated by stormtroopers.
Oh.
but
like-
then, yeah.
Like mostly for the most part, you're kind of like, yeah, legions of stormtroopers can't hit the side of a barn, whatever. Here, them walking
But when
down
you've
the
got a
stairs-
crowd, like you're
Yeah.
more likely to hit someone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just fire indiscriminately, you're gonna hit someone.
Yeah.
I mean, hats off to the people doing that too, because you can't actually tell where you're going in those outfits.
Nope.
The eyes do not match up, but they went downstairs and everything. It was great. Also got to finally see why the K2 droids were very effective.
They
in there.
teased us for so long.
Was it a good payoff? Did you feel?
I would have liked to have more time with K2.
I wanted
to be
more
honest.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, K2SO's eventual rehabilitation was interesting, but yeah, I did like seeing the droids in action, a little bit more physical. That's kind of fun,
Yeah. They were intimidating as fuck. These,
Yeah.
honking great big Enderman droids that'll just wander around and
Yeah, we'll just walk up and kick the fuck out of you.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna fling you 20 feet in the air and you're dead. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll use you as a projectile.
Yes.
I mean, like most of season 2 was interesting because we're always trying to wrap up what's going on and play catch up in the years that was going as we're ramping towards something. And the thing we're ramping towards is Rogue One because we know that it goes directly into Rogue One. And then all of that sort of stuff happens. And was there anything that you thought, apart from the fact that, season 2 was great and we got to have Krennic and we got to have the resolution of like some of those storylines, like finding more out about Leia, who was kind of always there in the background but not really explored, but actually getting a full episode that was just devoted to who is this person that has been there the whole time and is actually one of the most vital people to the entire rebellion.
Yeah.
And getting the time to have that was just amazing.
Her episode was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people have pointed out, like, she was the one in charge. Luthen was, Luthen was kind of almost too scared, too unstable, whatever. I'm not sure, but she was the one who was fucking steel.
Yeah.
Like, shit's getting close. She will just say to Lonnie, "You fucking stand there, do not move.
Yeah.
I am fixing this fucking problem."
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And then
listen to me because I'm going to recite to you information that they're going to quiz you about. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you things and you're going to fucking memorize them at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great.
There's a part of me that was like trying to work out where, like, when the conflict was that she became, came in with Luthen.
Oh, yeah.
And
the runaway.
yeah, and I got really confused in terms of timelines and where the fuck that, but also didn't matter.
No.
Didn't matter. There was a war. She's a refugee of war, and
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those bits that we just sort of go, there were 14 years. Luthen was an Imperial that was murdering civilians, basically, and he just didn't want to have it anymore. So he left. You know, good. We don't need any more. We've got other shit to worry about.
yeah, the one thing I wasn't sure, he was Imperial, was he? He was meant to be Imperial?
That's what it's kind of like
Right.
intimated. Looked
Right.
like he was wearing an Imperial uniform, but he could have been also, like, you know, it was established in season 1. There are militias. There are other things who may not be Imperial forces, but they work under the Imperials because they don't have the means to do direct control.
Regional governors.
Yeah, all of that kind of thing. Because, you know, Empire's a big place. You got to have someone to do your dirty work. Yeah.
Okay.
Droids
so
are
we
expensive.
we get to the end of Andor season 2.
Mm-hmm.
There have been some pretty big revelations. We've kind of we've met a bunch of characters. We've set up a whole bunch of pieces onto a board.
We get to finally understand what the fuck it was out of Rogue One that Saw Gerrera was huffing.
Petrol fumes.
Rhydonium. Pure, uncut, substrate rhydonium. Jet fuel. It's like the guy's just on jet fuel. And
Yep.
he's trying to get other people to huff on jet fuel too. You know? I love that. It's like, hey, do you want to blow some shit up? Because I do. It's like, finally, it gives us some context. Because, I mean, Jill, you saw Gerrera in the Clone Wars. You get to understand where he comes from. He's been fighting, fighting anyone or fighting people that have been coming since he's like 15. But in this one, we finally get to understand. I was like, yeah, after years and years and years, and the fact that you're just huffing stuff all the time, which is probably really bad for you, that explains everything that happens in Rogue One so much more clearly.
Yes. Yeah. It's so important to have that context for these characters.
Yeah.
So, shall we move on then to Rogue One?
Yeah.
Unless there's anything that needs to be said about.
I mean, honorable mention to Bix, because I mean,
Yeah.
she was there throughout 2 seasons.
Yep. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, she had a tragic storyline. I think, you know, she was traumatized, and made to just sit back while Cassian gallivanted around the galaxy, and she got played for a fool by Luthen, and, you know, turned to drugs, and
I feel
had
like
a really rough go of it the whole
She
time.
really did.
She had a lot of trauma, which is understandable after being tortured by the Imperials. And then, you know, Luthen started to see her as a liability and not an asset. Which is why there was always that bit of like, oh, is he going to kill her? Like, what's going on there?
I thought it was coming.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, in the end, she just ends up with a son of a Bix.
No, never stated whether it's male or female.
Oh, come on. I'm just fucking happy that they didn't leave B2 Emo on that planet by himself, just sitting there
a little droid
waiting.
friend to play with.
I know. I mean, that was kind of the only happy thing to come out of season 2 of Andor, which was like, oh, Bix is okay. Wait, she's never going to see Casa again. You know,
we also never got to find out what happened to Cassian's sister.
Let's be honest. You know, after the explanation of like, oh yeah, she was working here in this brothel for a little while and then she moved on. It's like, she's probably dead. Like, let's be honest. And they even said that in the thing. It's like, she's probably fucking dead, man. Like, there's no there's not much to do about. Anyway, did we like? Actually, there's one thing. Did you enjoy seeing Melshi come back? No fan of Melshi.
I am a fan of Melshi now.
You're talking about the Glub Shitto.
Yeah, definitely the Glub Shitto.
Good old Melshi was there, and you know, it was an interesting thing watching the ISB tracking them down on Coruscant, and then having that kind of hallway fight. That was the thing that was, you know, going up to. But I just thought it wasn't as good as I was hoping for, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, look, season 2 was a great wrap up. I enjoyed it. Season 1 was fantastic. It did that. Season 2 was just as great. And now we get to go to this funny little trailer of a film that we never really saw. So let's look at this trailer because it is not the film that it is.
State your name for the record.
Jin Urso.
Forgery of imperial documents, possession of stolen property, aggravated assault, resisting arrest.
On your own from the age of 15. Reckless, aggressive, and undisciplined.
This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel.
We have a mission for you. A major weapons test is imminent. We need to know what it is and how to destroy it.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
What will you do when they catch you? What will you do if they break you? If you continue to fight? What will you become?
Oh, yeah, there we go. What will you become?
A different film.
That was a different fucking film. First, Saw Gerrera had no hair. There's a shot. There's a shot in that of Krennic walking on the beaches, which he never does. That was an interesting one, isn't it? Strange trailer. But recontextualized, Rogue One, much better film.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, Jin Urso, not the main character.
No.
I feel like they were trying to make Jin the main character, and then they realized this is not a great main character. And then we didn't really know what we were doing, but that's okay because there's some great set pieces in Rogue One. Like this is the thing. Rogue and 2 seasons of Andor and Rogue One. Rogue One is the big battle fun thing that we're looking for. Andor is all the meat and potatoes that gets us there. Yeah. So, it's just a little bit of a complicated story, but now I understand everything about Cassian. People always had that thing is like, why didn't Cassian kiss Jin on the beach? That's
Ew.
You, yeah, totally fucking
Why
not
the
the right.
fuck does any man have to kiss a fucking woman? Jesus Christ.
But this were questions that were being asked. You got to remember, almost 10 years ago, who is this Cassian guy? He's like obviously set up to be with this girl, kind of thing. Is it a bit of a love story? Why not? I mean, in one of the films, we got a brother and sister kissing. Why can't we have these two?
See, I remember at the time thinking, oh man, this Cassian character just feels like a Han Solo that they didn't know what to do with.
Yeah, I'm like, who's this ringing?
Yeah, like he felt like, Mexican Han Solo.
Oh, wow.
Like, honestly, like Latino Han Solo, he was a different take on a trope. And now we get him.
Yeah, he's actually
he's a
fucking million
character.
times better than Han Solo.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yes, Karina, Han Solo.
Oh, God.
No.
Look, I mean, it helped me understand stuff. At least in Andor season 2, they included the idea of force healing, which helped to link to the Guardians of the Wills, which is what the 2 people from Jeddah, which was Donnie Yen and the other guy, I forgot his name, their characters. But we got to see all of those things. Finally, we understand why Saw Gerrera was fucking crazy because he's huff and paint and feeds, people.
Baze Malbus.
Yeah, Baze Malbus. And also the Bor Gullet. What the fuck was a Bor Gullet? Oh, it's just that mind flaying thing that he's probably using while he's huffing stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he occasionally goes into the Bor Gullet, licks it a few times, and it's just like, you don't know where I am.
Yeah,
you don't know where I am.
So is that a sex thing?
No.
Also helps to understand like why Mon Mothma's haircut got shittier, because during Andor she's still on Coruscant. And
When
then
you're roughing it on Yavin instead of Coruscant.
Not many hairdressers on that.
cutting her own hair.
Like all of them did, which is why by the time you get to episode 4, they've all got 70s bowl cuts.
Yeah. Two things I'd love to bring up. One of them is my only complaint about Rogue One is why the fuck were C-3PO and R2-D2 on Yavin just before the Battle of Scarif, and how did they get onto the diplomatic ship, which should have already been fucking on the way? And secondly, something someone brought up, I saw one on the a discussion on the internet. It recontextualizes the moment in episode 4 where Leia is talking to Tarkin, and Tarkin's threatening to blow up Alderaan. Now, you got to remember that Leia has just been on Scarif, so she's seen the Death Star fire. But what she thinks is, because it was just one reactor, all right, what she knows is that when that thing fires, it will take out like a bit of the planet. Like it will take out like a big area, but it won't do it. So when it is fired immediately, it obliterates the planet, and that's why her reaction is like,
no,
holy fuck. That is not what she was expecting. She was expecting maybe a city to get destroyed on Alderaan, not the planet to explode into a million pieces.
Right.
So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
don't
why.
explain
That's why
her reaction at the end of nonchalance.
That's why she was bluff. Well, she's not from Yavin. Oh, sorry, not Yavin. She's not from Alderaan. She was born on that weird asteroid belt by the robots with the scooping hands. True. Yeah.
Yeah. There is so many things in there that you suddenly see through different eyes. Like the film just totally becomes Cassian's story continued.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's now just this whole thing with Jyn. Cool. Okay. She's the new character that has been introduced to further the next bit of the plot.
Yeah.
Like,
and
the fact that they know nothing about the Death Star other than a name, and it's pure ass that Galen manages to get the word out about the plans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is just like, holy shit, this is just luck.
We remember, like in season 2, it's like you have to remember these 4 words. Like it's Galen Erso, Jeddah, Kyber. Like these are the important things that we've got to say, and also the fact that season 2 goes out of its way to explain that Cassian is not trusted by the rebellion. This is why he's in this strange position. So when you get to Rogue One and you're like, oh, right, they're just making shit up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. There was so many moments in it that you see through a totally different lens, and you're like, fuck me, okay, that's different. And the thing that I found interesting rewatching it is the job, the hard work that Rogue One is doing in bridging. So what it's doing is, and now we know what it's bridging from and to. Like we've had however many movies now of Andor. And then Rogue One is this thing that bridges from the seriousness of Andor to the weird, like kind of goofy shit that you hit in episode 4. So, it's quite serious. And then they have this bit where they go, and now we have to go and see Darth Vader. And it's flying over a planet of lava. And he is in the fucking Barad-dûr fucking tower with lava and shit. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And contextually, it's pretty much the first time you've ever seen anyone use the Force, apart from the Force healer. And it's Vader fucking choking him. And you're like,
Come on, Quinny. Next thing we know, you won't be seeing the similarities between Star Wars and The Lion King.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The planet, the lava planet is Mustafa.
You mean King Lear?
Yeah.
No, the lava planet is Mustafa.
Yes.
You know, the voice of Darth Vader is Mustafa.
I mean,
Moving
yes.
on.
It's all connected.
It is all connected. And I like the way that it kind of then, keeps it grounded, but also starts adding in the Force stuff. And it's like, okay, you've got your Vader. And you don't see Vader being a full fucking Jedi badass until the last 5 minutes of the film.
Yeah. The last few minutes where he gives one of the best entrances to that character and actually helps to why people understand, like, oh, that's why he's fucking scary, because he doesn't actually do shit for the rest of this. He's just a presence.
Yeah.
He doesn't do stuff. And
That
that's
was
what
the
we wanted.
most badass reveal.
Fuck yeah.
At the end of that movie.
God, yes.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that is more badass is actually from a comic book about Darth Vader, where the rebellion actually succeeds in shooting him down, and he crashes, and they just send everyone to try to kill him. And there's a great panel series in this comic, if you ever want to go have a look for it, that just has this there's hundreds of rebel troops, and they're all like, "We have you surrounded. Lay down. You're going to die. We're going to kill you, if you don't surrender immediately." And it's Vader, who's just crawled out of a plane crash, out of a TIE crash, standing there, and he just goes, "I am only surrounded by fear and dead men." And that's it. And then he just starts fighting them, and it's just like, shit. That was kind of what that hallway scene was about, which is like, yeah, I'm just going to do the
Gonk,
most...
but also sick.
Yeah, gonk.
Sick gonk, bro.
Yeah, sick
I want to
gonk.
know why Vader is the person that they just go, Vader's coming, and everyone just goes, shit.
And then everyone's got a dark stain at the front of their pants.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I wore the brown pants.
I love that Krennic got his fucking comeuppance by being on the planet when it gets shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. If you're going to have someone who's even more ruthless and stuff, get Tarkin, because Tarkin's like, oh, fun, kill it.
I love that, because there's always a bigger fish. Krennic comes into Andor and he's like, yeah, I'm going to put my finger on your head, and I'm going to, mock the ISB and all these things. And then he's fucking, beaten down by Tarkin. And then Tarkin also bows to Vader.
Yeah.
And there's always a bigger fucking fish.
I mean, I thought that, just to skip back to season 2 of Andor, there was that really great scene where Partagaz kills himself. Rather than have to face up to the consequences of what he's responsible for. Is a really great nuanced scene where the two stormtroopers are outside and the other guy's just standing there, and they hear the blast and they go to react. He just holds up his hand slightly, just say, no, it's all right, no problem, moving on.
Yeah,
it's good, nuanced, beautiful. Rogue One, fantastic. It's definitely worth going. Andor season 1, Andor season 2, Rogue One, and if you're a monster like Jill, straight into episode 4.
Yep.
Because they're all on the same timeline.
Literally.
I love it. It's a great thing. I really hope that someone edits them, because Quinny, you were showing me the other day that someone had done an edit of Obi-Wan into a 4-hour movie, and it looks fucking cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I hope someone edits all of Andor and Rogue One back in.
I once did the 9-hour sitting where they did all of the Avengers movies, pre First Avengers, in timeline order. So the 2 Iron Mans, the Hulk movie, Captain America, and Thor, and they cut them in the timeline segments. So it starts with learning about the Tesseract. Then it goes to First Avenger. Then you get Iron Man 1 and Hulk at the same time, and then
oh wow,
and then it cuts back through, and then at the very end it's Avengers 1. And it goes for 9 fucking hours. That is my Lord of the Rings extended edition.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Hell yeah.
It's kind of like one of those things I want to do. I want to catch one of those new, what is it, Qantas direct flights, 22 hours straight to London from Sydney. Just cue that shit up. No worries.
Yep. I would watch the shit out of that.
Yep. Okay, I'm all gonked out. I got nothing else in the tank.
Yeah, we are done. Yeah. We have. Look,
Thanks
this is,
finally
as far as
getting
I'm
it off.
concerned, the greatest fucking Star Wars shit that we have had in a long time.
Yep.
And I don't know how you follow that up. I don't know where we go from here. And apparently neither do they.
Well,
Skeleton
Mandalorian movie.
Yeah. Skeleton Crew season 2.
That's
Ooh.
that's not a
Stranger
thing.
Things in space.
Renew the Acolyte.
Was it Jedi Starfighter with fucking Ryan?
Ryan Gosling. What's that one about?
What was Jabba's son called again? We just talked about that off mic.
And do you think I've closed the window that had his
Glub Shitto the second.
Glub
Glub Shitto too?
Glub Shitto. Apparently that hut is in Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Give us Zero. Justice for Zero Hut.
Justice for Zero. Look, I don't know where Star Wars is going to go from here, but you know, I've got had a pretty good run with it at the moment, so I can't complain. It'll keep me going for a little while.
Excellent.
All right, and next week, what are we doing? It's not Star
More
Wars.
sci-fi.
More science fiction. What are we doing?
We're doing Murderbot.
Murderbot. Is it Murderbot or is it Mountainhead?
I thought it was Mountainhead, then Murderbot.
Oh,
yes.
Yes, it's Mountainhead. We're doing Mountainhead, not sci-fi next week.
Kind of
taking a quick break from sci-fi.
Palate cleanser.
Of billionaire dickheads.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we're back with more sci-fi.
It's Tech Bros, and then back for more sci-fi with Murderbot, and then we'll finally get around to talking about The Last of Us. Part 2.
Maybe.
There we go.
Unless something better comes along.
Sure.
I mean, not to throw shade at The Last of Us, which I think is fucking great, but you know, look, there's a lot happening in June. There's many things coming out. A little bit later this week is the Predator animated films.
Oh yeah.
In about 3 days' time. So
There's also Ballerina. There's How to Train Your Dragon. There's the last of the Mission Impossible movies, which we still haven't around to see.
I don't care. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, I honestly don't care.
Oh, don't be like that. Tom Cruise needs to save cinema.
He did that in fucking Top Gun Maverick, and now cinema's back, and we deserve better than that.
But also, this week is public holiday long weekend, so I hope you all have a nice day off, extra day off that you potentially get paid for. Or it's
I'll be watching Mountainhead.
Mountainhead? You could. You should be able to do that. Thanks for listening to us talk about all things Star Wars. Thanks everyone in the chat for joining in. That was good. There were some interesting points in there I liked.
Yes. And yeah, shout out to Tari. Yes, this month is Critical Role month.
Yes.
As we have the Critical Role 2 shows here, one in Sydney, one in Melbourne, and they're not appearing anywhere else at all. They're certainly not appearing at any expos or anything like that.
No,
they're just doing their live.
Not any that we endorse.
Exactly. Nothing in Perth and nothing in Brisbane.
Nope.
So you know, it's D&D. Roll out your dice for them coming around.
Yes.
Amazing.
Okay. Well, I don't think, you know what? We're not even going to try and rate anyone.
No, we're not even going to try to rate anyone.
We're just going to say good night.
Yeah.
Call people.
You know, I've got friends everywhere. There you go. There's my last little bit of gonk.
I love it.
Okay.
Rebellions are built on hope. Peace out, bitches.
Okay, bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. Deep-powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. But martial arts from Iron Fist and Wall, call Dazzler up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not cooking up these heroes at my parents' restaurant now. I wanna yell out Avengers assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're out of cheeky now. Date Emma Frost and have her read my mind. Or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and then we catch a symphony.